There we go. Hello.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm very good. How are you,
I am doing well. Hold on. I'm going to add
Zofia?
Sophia in 1 second. There we go. How are you doing, Marta?
I'm doing really well. Yes, it's a beautiful day here in LA.
Yes, it is. Good weather. Sophia's joined us also.
Hello.
Wonderful. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. How are you? Um,
Great.
So excited that we get to have this live today in honor of Natural Infertility Awareness Week. And I've had the pleasure of learning about the wonderful work that you both do with the fertility class. But I'd love for the HTFAT community to learn a little bit more about this wonderful resource that you offer and how they can benefit from it. So before we even get started in learning about it, would each of you like to take a minute to introduce yourselves to the HTFAT community?
Sure, who should? I can go first. So my name is Marta Han, and I've been teaching fertility exercises here in LA for about 8 years. I'm also a certified yoga teacher and health coach. And in 2020, end of 2023, Zofia and I had the pleasure to launch our program, the fertility class. Zofia?
Zofia Jameson. I've been involved with fertility exercises for 15 years. I think it'll be interesting for your community to learn that the exercises originate from Israel. I actually personally learned them in Hungary. They were created by a Jewish Hungarian woman whose parents died in Auschwitz, and she went to boarding school in Israel from Hungary, and she made it her life's work to try to find exercises that help you control what happens in your womb and help your hormone levels and your cycles. And so she created an exercise program method called the Aviva Method. And I came across this method when I had really severe PCOS in my 20s. And so I discovered these exercises. I learned them myself. They helped me with my cycles. They helped me get pregnant within 4 months of starting the exercises. And so once I stopped breastfeeding that child, I decided that it was really time for me to, you know, spread this method to other women. So I became a teacher. This was almost 15 years ago.
Wow.
And so I've been teaching the method since, in addition to my career, full-time career in fashion. But as Marta mentioned, we joined forces a year ago and launched the fertility class, which we can tell you more about.
Amazing. Yes, please share more about the fertility class with us so that those who are interested and can benefit from this amazing work that you are doing of the Aviva method that you're describing and can also benefit in a way that you've benefited.
Yeah, so this is basically an online on-demand class for hormone health and fertility health. And, in the spirit of a National Infertility Awareness Week, I also love to share my story because I went through infertility for 3 years. I had a miscarriage, and it's a very lonely and frustrating time for women. And, you want to talk about it, but you don't want to talk about it.
Right.
And for all the ladies out there, I just want to say that I see you and your body is not broken. And there are so many alternative solutions that can support your fertility journey or even fertility treatment. And while many women are familiar with nutrition, or even stress management, very few are aware, especially here in the United States, that there are fertility and pelvic centered exercises that can improve your uterine lining, your equality, follicle size and count, open up blocked fallopian tubes, and the list goes on and on. Zofia, do you want to add something too?
Yeah, I think also just because it is such a hard time and there's so few tools that you can use yourself. Exercise is one of them, something active that you can do for yourself. And Marta does most of our movement classes, and she makes it so fun. We have really fun music, and it's an upbeat, rhythmic movement and class. It's a fun class. So it's also uplifting, and just, it instantly puts you in a better mood. And we can tell you more about the, kind of how it works and what it looks like, because I think it's just it's kind of a foreign concept to people. It was a
For
very
sure.
foreign concept to me. It's not something that I even entertained or was even on my radar. It just kind of fell in my lap initially, and it was so therapeutic for me, both mentally and physically at the time, and continues to be. It's
Yeah.
something that I think takes us through, kind of all of the stages of womanhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember when we spoke, you had mentioned how whether one is actively pursuing a fertility journey or not, that there's so many different types of movements available that help you at the different stages of your life and of supporting your reproductive organs. And I thought that that was so incredible that you have classes that both support individuals through their fertility journey, but that's just a piece of our life's journey with our reproductive organs, and so important that this is a resource that individuals can tap into at different places. Would you like to share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so the premise of the exercise is that we increase blood flow, blood circulation around the reproductive organs. So the blood flow and the circulation increases in the veins, the arteries, and the lymphatic system. So with that, we bring extra nutrients, vitamins, hormones for your uterus, ovaries, fallopian tubes, so they can function better. We also stimulate the pituitary hypothalamic gland, so that brain organ communication becomes much more efficient. We work with reflexology points on the surface of the hand and feet. So we also stimulating the body in various ways. And as Zofia said, that it's science backed and really effective for different kind of hormone related problems, whether is it regulating your cycle, easing PMS, or really trying to conceive, and you need to improve that uterine lining and follicle size and count. There are certain exercises to do that. So if somebody just cannot ovulate, we can personalize that exercise program and add more exercises to their routine where we really just boosting and triggering ovulation. Or if you just not being able to have a regular cycle, then we work with that. So it's one-on-one hand holding happening here. It's not like one size fits all, right, Zofia?
Yeah, and I also would just love to paint a picture of, why this is so important. And, we see it on the screen now, but we spend so much time sitting. All of us
Yeah.
spend so much time sitting in front of a computer. Just, it's our lifestyles, unfortunately, for most people. And especially when you're sitting with bad posture, if you just think about what happens to your reproductive organs, you're almost weighing your entire diaphragm, your body, onto your reproductive organs. So it's just the physiology of women. And so, just, we work on posture. It's something, posture and breathing is really important. But what we do is get blood flow, which may be cut off again from all this sitting, and just sedentary lifestyle. We get this real blood flow boosted, to your reproductive organs. And so with that, you get nutrients and oxygen and hormones to these organs, which is what's responsible for reproduction in general. So that's one of the big premises of the exercises. And then, as Marta mentioned, we also work on reflexology points, which is really important for hormone production. They're worked into movements as well. And, it's dynamic to get kind of blood circulation going in general. But so targeting the pelvis and these organs, aligning the organs, because they can get misaligned again, also just from a lot of sitting, to get them, communicating with each other properly. So this is all built into the exercises. Think of it as a sequence, as a half-hour exercise that targets all of these things. And we can fine-tune it depending on your goals, or your lifestyle. But really, it's a half-hour practice that we would like you to practice 2 to 3 times a week. It's really not that excessive. Ideally, go on walks and be more active, just to boost the results of it. But it's really not that huge of a commitment, and really you can really start feeling the benefits, or just even this boost of blood flow quite quickly as you start practicing, which is exciting.
It's
It's a
amazing.
fun thing.
And for those who are in this community who are also simultaneously pursuing treatment, does it work compatibly with individuals who are also in treatment? And do you have specialized exercises for individuals at different points in as they're cycling?
Absolutely. It's a great question because people are so scared to move before IUI, IVF, and actually research shows that they really need that blood flow to get their body ready and be able to tolerate that hormonal shift. So if anything, I think it would be a very good idea to start so you get your body ready and more receptive for the treatment. While you are in active treatment, we would say that hold your horses and and just maybe just focus on the breathing and stretching. But it's definitely, I think the biggest benefit also is that shortening the time frame of getting pregnant. I think the success rate is just more, it's just better, basically. Wouldn't you say that, Zofia?
Yeah, I mean, we have members who are going through, actively going through treatments. They have started the exercises before they started on the assisted reproductive journey. So
Nice.
they were able to, see some differences in uterine lining, cervical mucus through their doctor's feedback, which is always really exciting. So yeah, so we would like you to start as early as possible so you can reap the benefits. And then you can continue into your journey, and we help you depending on where you're um, in that journey itself, but also your cycle, and we help you through it. But it's definitely beneficial,
Yeah.
and
Wonderful.
we're working with some doctors who are also sending their patients as they start discussing
Yeah.
IVF or IUI.
And while we are focusing on the exercises, I mean, we would love to also emphasize that it's not just exercise, it's a whole program. So we also give nutrition advice, we have meditation, we have like gentle yoga. So it's the whole 360 approach, and we really try to cater and cover as much as possible in the holistic space.
Amazing. And you had mentioned, Marta, that you're in LA. What if an individual isn't in LA and can't come? How do they participate in this
So we
process? Yeah.
that's a great question. So we are finally online on demand. So if they go to our website with one click, they can actually just sign up. It's basically $45 per month, the subscription, but for 3 days they have access for the library, and they can check it out whether it's for them. You can cancel anytime. I know it's sometimes like, I don't want subscription. Like, we promise, we don't hold anybody's credit card. Like, you can leave if it's not for you. But most of our clients are actually really happy with the program because they get so much out of it. Right, Sofia?
Yeah, it's we made it very easy. We had to learn it from some old books with black and white pictures back in the day, and this is why it was so important to us to have it online, to have it on demand, so people can sign up, and our focus is on movement and exercise. That's what we offer. That is different, that you only get from us. But in addition to that, we give you all of the resources that help you with your hormone health and your cycle health, and fertility health. And so Marta is on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast. So we do have some in-person classes, but we don't offer anything additional in those classes than what you can get online on our
Amazing.
platform.
So you could live anywhere and at any time of the day. Hop onto the fertility class website, and for $45 a month, you're saying you get unlimited access to all these wonderful resources.
Absolutely. And we have
And
members, I think, on every continent at this
wow,
point. So it really is for anyone, anywhere.
that's wonderful. Any last thoughts that you would like to leave the Yesh Tikva community with, either about the fertility class or just something in honor of National Infertility Awareness Week?
I think, I know that when you are in treatment or when you're trying to get pregnant for many years or you have had one or multiple miscarriages, you feel very discouraged. But I think you have to really trust your body that it really does have the ability to heal, but you have to give it a chance. And sometimes really simple solutions like moving your body the right way, the right time, eating the right food, the right time, and managing that stress, like these pillars of health can make tremendous impact on your fertility health and whether you're gonna end up with IVF or not, like your body gonna be just in a better place. And as I mentioned, I went through infertility almost 20 years ago. Oops, here is my age. And I wish I would have had this program for myself, but I didn't. And I was so lost and clueless and over medicated that, if I could go back time, I would definitely call myself up and say like, sign up.
Yeah, I would just add that I think there's so much noise now, and I think anyone that is going through this journey, you're getting so much information, whether it's your community, it's Instagram, or wherever you happen to be, you're just fed all of this advice, and I really just want to emphasize that movement is medicine. So don't underestimate what movement can do for your body. And you don't need a fancy gym membership. You don't need any tools. You can just use the power of your own body and your own system to do a lot of healing and improving of your body. And so use that and try it. And it's really, I hate to say it, but it's really not that complicated if you can just find all of the right things for you in these pillars. We always talk about these pillars being the movement, the food, the mindfulness, and those really are the foundations, which we help you build out. I think that's our secret sauce.
That's beautiful. And as someone we had pointed out earlier, and someone even wrote it in the comments, is how wonderful that it's not exclusively for the fertility community, for those who are pursuing actively growing their families, but rather movement that can help support you through your entire life cycle of reproductive health care. And I think that that's also such a important piece to end off with, is that whether one is actively growing their family, and this is a tool that one can use, it's also, there are so many other parts of this journey, and how movement really just holistically helps your reproductive journey is so wonderful.
Yes, and I think once you get a taste, you then start to understand how this can help you in perimenopause or menopause. So it's not just fertility; it's about fertility health, which is linked back to your hormones, and that's what targeted exercise can help with. And that's what the fertility class is all about.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing about the fertility class with the H-Tikva community today. We will make sure to tag you so that individuals who are interested in learning more can find you easily, so that they can start with a trial of 3 days and see how incredible this resource is for their bodies.
Yeah.
So thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank
Thank
you
you for
so much.
having us, and thank you for the amazing work that you do.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.